Brilliant Creatures.
I'm Stephen.
I'm Gail.
And let's have a look at what's coming up on today's show.
It's said that a leopard can drag a heavy carcass into a tree to protect it from scavengers. Well, we're going to put it to the test in just a few moments.
In the first of our South African films, meet a girl who was trapped in a toilet by a venomous spitting cobra and lived to tell the story.
This stupid dog swallowed something he shouldn't. Find out what it was a bit later.
Throughout this series, we're looking at animals that people keep as pets. Could a hamster be the perfect pet for you? Find out in Particulars.
And would you be daft enough to put your hand into a tank of hungry piranha? We'll find out if Stephen is later in the show.
And if that's not enough for you, here's a sneaky peek at some of the other brilliant creatures coming up in the next few programmes.
There are two powerful black bears.
A snake that can swallow an egg 8 times the size of its own head.
The studio gets packed with puppies.
There are mini horses. Cheeky monkeys.
Hungry snakes.
Obstinate birds.
Right, I am going to get this bone.
Surprising lizards.
Yes.
And even a hungry baby rhino.
Is it really strong?
So keep watching Brilliant Creatures.
Meet the leopard, one of the world's top predators. Massively powerful, incredibly agile, and with jaws like a vice, all of which we're going to be putting to the test. Now, the leopard can pull down and kill some pretty impressive animals much bigger than itself, from antelopes to ostriches.
Now, in order to kill such strong, fast, dangerous animals, the leopard has developed some pretty impressive athletic powers. For example, it can jump 2.5 metres in the air in a single bound, beating the world record for the high jump. Even more staggering, the leopard can jump more than 9 metres in a single long jump. That's twice the distance from here to here, again beating the human world record, and in both cases the leopard jumps from a standing start. Impressive stuff.
So the leopard's a top athlete with muscle-bound legs that it uses for spring, stealth, but crucially for something that no other big cat can do, for climbing trees. Now, it uses this skill to its great advantage, because when it kills its prey, it drags it up a tree and leaves it up there in the high branches. And this means that no other big cat can get at it, or no other animal can get at it, and this is known as a leopard's larder.
Now, they are able to drag prey that's 3 times their own weight. So in this case, it's 120 kilograms, and here is how we're going to put the leopard to the test. Inside this enclosure, we've got that big ramp. It's 3 metres long, and it's angled at 45 degrees.
Now, with a bit of luck, the leopard is going to pick up a sack at the bottom of the ramp, as if it was its prey, drag it up the ramp, all the way to the top that's acting as the larder.
But can the leopard do it? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's put it to the test. Is he going to do it?
Oh, he's interested in it, look.
Here we go.
Look at that!
He's walked on the first... He's straight
gonna
to
do
the
it,
top!
he did it!
How fantastic is that? That was so fast as well. And when the kill is safely stored in a larder, the leopard can return to it later on. And to get back down, well, he'll either climb down or jump.
Well, we put the leopard to the test and, well, I think he passed with flying colours.
The leopard, king of the climbing cats.
What of a golf ball
A candle?
and a big pair of pants got in common?
Well, believe it or not, these are all objects that have been found in dogs' stomachs over the past few years by vet Donald McTaggart.
Now, this is Waldo, and this is an 18-centimetre butter knife that was found lodged in Waldo's throat after he ate it.
You wouldn't believe it, would you? See, he was so desperate to get the butter that was on the blade that he did swallow the knife. Lucky enough for Waldo, the butter actually lubricated the blade so it didn't cut him on the way down.
Now, it was only when someone actually realised that the butter knife was missing that they suspected that he might have eaten it, and he was rushed to surgery. Now, if you're finding all this a bit hard to swallow...
Have a look at this. This is actually the X-ray that Donald McTaggart took of Waldo's throat. Look, there's the blade just there, just before Waldo went into the operation. It actually took an hour and a half, 4 vets and 2 veterinary nurses to get the knife out.
Now, they said that the knife was actually travelling towards his heart, and if he hadn't had the surgery when he did, he'd be one dead dog.
Now, we spoke to Donald McTaggart, and he said if you think an animal has eaten something that they shouldn't have, you mustn't let them drink or eat anything, and get them to the vet as soon as you can. Lucky enough for Waldo, that's what his owner did.
Now, Waldo had a very lucky escape, but he's much better now, aren't you, Waldo?
Incredibly, over 600,000 people a year are bitten by venomous snakes here in Africa.
And of those, 20,000 actually die as a result of their injury.
Now, this does make it sound as though Africans come across snakes all the time in their day-to-day lives.
But despite the fact that there are over 160 species of snakes in South Africa alone, most people in cities have never even seen one.
Have I ever seen a snake before? No, but I'd like to see one.
No, I've never seen a snake.
You don't normally get snakes in the city.
I think snakes lives in the bush. You might see a snake in the city, you might. But there's a slight chance you might.
So most people living in South Africa's cities don't give snakes a second thought, and you would think you'll be especially safe on the second floor of a school building in one of South Africa's largest cities, Johannesburg.
Certainly Michelle Edwards on her first day at a new school thought so. But she couldn't have been more wrong.
It was my first day at school, and I was very nervous. I was sitting in the classroom, and I wanted to go to the toilet, but I felt nervous to ask because it was my first day. But I got the courage and asked if I could go to the toilet. I went to the toilet. I don't know why, I didn't close the door full. I left it like a little bit open. And I looked down, and the snake came around the door of the toilet. The snake was dark, like a brown-black. When it rose up at me on the side, I can remember some yellow somewhere on the snake.
Unfortunately for Michelle, the snake was a venomous cobra called a rinkhals.
If you got bitten by a wrinkle, you'd have a burning sensation, people will become nauseous, they will vomit. Wrinkles venom can actually cause respiratory paralysis and thereby death.
And when I saw the snake, I got onto the toilet. I got my hands on the wall, I stood on the toilet, pulled my pants up. The snake came and around the toilet.
So imagine this, you're trapped in a little room like this one, just a couple of metres square. There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to jump to, and there's no one on hand to shout for help. And in there with you is a wound up, aggressive, venomous rinkhals snake. What would you do?
For me it was weird because I'm scared of anything. I've always been scared, but I was calm. I was really, really calm. No one ever told me about what to do if I ever see a snake. I was still very young, but I was really calm. I think it was just instinct.
Something to remember about snakes is they have poor eyesight and they react to movement. If you do come across a snake, stand dead still. Don't move. The snake will then feel safe and then move off.
When I leaned to open the door, I was looking at the snake. My heart, I remember, I think I could feel my heart beating fast.
And then Michelle did the most amazing thing. She made a jump for it.
I think I took a few breaths and then I just got the courage and I just jumped and ran. And I remember looking behind me and I saw the snake spring at me and it made a noise.
So Michelle ran as quickly as she could back to the classroom to tell the teacher that there was a snake in the toilet.
When I told the teacher, I think that even the kids were like, there's a snake, whatever. And she sent another little girl with me, one of my friends, to go and check with me.
Michelle then has to return to the scene of her close encounter. She gently pushes the door open and the snake is still there. On discovering the snake still in the loo, the school authorities contact a nearby snake park and one of their experts arrives to remove it.
It felt like someone was looking over me that day. My gran had just recently passed away and I think she was there with me and just also gave me a big push when I jumped.
Throughout this series of Brilliant Creatures, we've been looking at some of the animals that people keep as pets. Now, if you're thinking about getting a pet, you've probably researched the various options, and you might even have considered one of these. It's a hamster.
Now, if you already have one, or indeed if you're thinking about getting one, here are a few things that you might want to know. First of all, don't put two hamsters in the same cage because it will turn into a bloodbath. You see, hamsters are solitary animals and they're happier on their own.
Do think about your hamster's diet. It's really not enough to just give him boring old hamster mix all the time. So give him a little weekly treat. They really like fresh carrot and apple. And also, strangely enough, they like boiled egg. You can also give them a bit of wet dog food, because surprisingly hamsters do like meat. And dry dog biscuits are good too.
Don't get a hamster if you're looking for a lifelong relationship with your pet. Hello. See, the thing is, they'll only most probably see out about 3 birthdays, so you can't plan a long relationship together.
Do be aware that you need to clean your hamster's cage out at least once a week, but make life easy for yourself by toilet training your hamster. Now, it's much easier than it sounds. All you need is the well-washed out lid of a coffee jar and put it into the hamster's cage, and it'll use it as a litter tray.
Don't get a hamster if you're a light sleeper. You see, hamsters wake up when you are about to go to bed. They claw, scratch, swing, munch and run around just as you're trying to nod off. So the bedroom is not the ideal place to keep them.
So there you go. You've heard all the hamster particulars now. Is he the particular pet for you?
Now, for more information and expert advice, why don't you go to the Brilliant Creatures website? There you'll find some top links to other web pages on how to look after a hamster.
Piranha fish from South America, famous for their violent and aggressive feeding frenzies.
Now, it's said that a shoal of hungry piranhas could strip an animal as big as a horse down to the bone. Now, back in 1981, a boat that was carrying 300 people on a river in Brazil capsized. And it's believed that every one of them was eaten alive. So, having heard all that, you're probably going to be wondering why today's challenge to Stephen is for him to put his arm into the tank full of hungry piranha.
Well, although we do know that they attack people, I have been told, right, that they prefer smaller prey like fish and insects, even fruit and nuts, fingers crossed.
While you've still got them.
Leave it.
Come on then, get on with it.
OK.
You've been really dreading this, haven't you?
See, now I'm getting nervous.
Just do it.
OK, we ready?
3, 2, 1. Oh, now look, they actually got a bit scared. They've sort of scattered. But apparently piranha do get used to strange objects. Now, it can only take one of them to get used to it. Go up to your hand and then they'll all be on it.
Well, fingers crossed they're not coming near you. No, that's it.
Yeah,
Forget it.
enough?
I'm not waiting for them to come to me.
I don't think I could have stood it that long.
But I did it.
Now, just to prove that this isn't a setup and that this really is a tank of hungry piranha, we're going to put in something that they do like to eat and show you how ferocious the feeding frenzy can be. Now, I've been told that when I do this, I have to keep my hand well clear of the surface of the water, because once they get going, they get so overexcited they can jump clear of the water and just attack anything they get hold of.
Oh, look, already!
Look.
See, one of them's gone now. Look, now they all start to attack it.
They're really tugging on it as well.
That could have been my hand.
Oh, dear. Look at that. Oh, it's just clouds of fish.
Look, they're ripping clumps out of it.
Oh, half of it is gone already.
Oh, no.
Look at that.
Do you know something? You've now seen how aggressive they can be, but people do keep these as pets. And if you do, don't try this at home.
Well, that's it for today's show.
Now, if you want any information on anything that you've seen, steady, why don't you check out the website? The address is on the screen now.
And we'll see you next time for some more of the world's most brilliant creatures. See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.